Hey everybody, I don't think the first broadcast was working, so I'm starting this over again. I'm 4 minutes late because I played around with the first live stream. I haven't seen anybody come in here yet, so I hope my comments are working. Maybe I should turn my phone on, and my comments ain't working, and maybe Dangerous Freedom or Spirit Talker can give me a call and let me know that things are not going the way they should. This is the first time I've done a live stream, and I haven't had any people in here, so I don't know if everything's working or if it's a screwed up process tonight. You never know what's going to happen when you're messing with YouTube. Um, I try all the time to do what's right on YouTube. Sometimes I get carried away, but I'm going to stand here for a few minutes, or sit here rather, and I'm going to see what's going on because I have absolutely no one in here. I'm going to make a phone call. I'm going to find out if my chat's working or if I have a glitch. Hey, Spirit Talker, I don't have anybody in my chat. What's going on? Do you know? No, and I've been on for 7 minutes. Yeah, I know it takes a minute. Oh, yeah, I'm live, but there's nobody in here, and I've been on here for 7 minutes. I don't see anybody. Now it's showing 2. I see people here, but I don't see anybody in the chat. Why is my chat not working? That's crazy. All right, let me go. I'm going to get on my phone so I can watch the chat. Thanks, buddy. Okay, people, there are people in here. For some reason, my chat's not showing up. So I'm going to go in the back door, I guess, and I'm going to go into my own channel. It'll be a little bit delayed. Okay, I got 8 people in here according to my phone. My StreamYard says there's nobody in here. So good. I do have 8 people in the chat, and I'm glad you're here. Thank you so much for being here. And we're going to get started with this live stream. I've already lost 8 minutes, and we're going to get started with 8 people. I normally try to wait till I get 10, but Colleen, Spirit Talker, Jeff Brandau, Margot Dahlgren, Modus Operandi. Glad you're here, brother. Glad you're here. Vince Dunn. Vince Dunn's here. That's great. We've got 10 people. So I'm going to get started. I want to, gather all of you in here. And I know most of you are subscribers as of yet. But if anybody watches this video after the live stream, I want you to know that please subscribe. Hit the like button. And that goes for everybody. If you're in here, I have 10 people in the chat. I would love to see 10 people with likes. That'd be great. The more likes I get, the more my videos are put forward as suggested videos. So leave a comment, hit the bell icon. That way you'll know when I'm going live. People, we've got a late, slow down a minute. We've got a lot of people on YouTube today who are putting out great content. They're doing things that should have been done years ago. But we have people like Pete the Patriot, DM DeMond, History B, Sandra Ann McGibbon, who goes by S.A. McGibbon now, the California Critic, Dangerous Freedom, and Liberty Smith. I want you to look at these people. I want you to subscribe to them. They're great people. We've got 14 in here. Northern Tigers here. Margot Dalgreen, Colleen O'Sullivan. Propis is here, and so is CLC in Florida. Yeah, I know, brother. I'm still having glitches there, CLC in Florida. I'm not seeing anything on my chat. It shows I have 14 here, but it is not letting me see the chat for some reason. So I've got my phone on, so every now and then you're going to see me look over here so I can see what's happening in the chat. But I want to start off, and I hope you like my backdrop. I sort of changed it a little bit. I've had that banner hanging on my outbuilding out there, not an outhouse. It's an outbuilding, my old shop, and I've had it hanging out there. So I brought it in, and I put it up here behind me along with my carbine and my home defense sawed-off shotgun and my 2K bars. But tomorrow is Veterans Day. It's Veterans Day 2019. Another year has went by. But as veterans, we see tomorrow as a day of freedom and honor and sacrifice for those who have served in the military. You know, without Veterans Day, I believe most Americans would just forget all about our veterans. How many times a day do you think about our veterans unless you have a veteran in your family? How many times a day do you think about the service that these people put in, you know, to keep you free on a daily basis? Normally we don't. As a people, we're so busy with our lives and with everything going on, we don't think about our veterans. You know, without Veterans Day, so many people will not even understand what a veteran is. The ultimate sacrifice by so many men and women for America's sake died on foreign battlefields so we could live free. Veterans Day was formerly known as Armistice Day. It falls on November the 11th every year, no matter what the day of the week it falls on. This day is the anniversary of the signing of the armistice, which ended hostilities between the Allied forces, America, Britain, France, Italy, all the Allies. It ended the hostilities between the Allied forces and Nazi Germany. The armistice was signed on the 11th month, the 11th day, and the 11th hour in 1918. A lot of people are confused over the meaning of Veterans Day. On Veterans Day, we celebrate the service of all military veterans. And this is the important point, and I'm going to push this home because I know I'm going to have somebody disagreeing with me. But brother, as a 7-year veteran in the military, I have the right. I have earned the right to say this, and I will say it. We celebrate the service of all military veterans as long as they are discharged with an honorable discharge. Do you see where I'm coming from? So if you have a general discharge, an undesirable discharge, or a dishonorable discharge, you receive no accolades. You don't deserve to be celebrated as a veteran. If you cannot serve honorably, be it 2 years during the draft or 3 or 4 years or whatever you signed up for, if you couldn't serve the military our country and your family and all Americans with honor, then you don't need to be celebrated tomorrow on Veterans Day. And I don't care if it makes you angry. I'm going to tell you something, my friends. It's not hard to get an honorable discharge. I have two of them. One for 3 years service, one for 4 years service. But they were both honorable. And I'm not going to waste my time celebrating someone or congratulating someone for a happy Veterans Day if they didn't get out of the military with an honorable discharge. All you had to do was do your job. You know, anyone with a less than honorable discharge should never be celebrated because an honorable discharge is so easy to obtain. All you have to do is do your assigned job until your time of service ends. Just to be clear, no military veteran with less than an honorable discharge does not deserve any thanks because she or he was not honorable to their friends, to the other military personnel, to their family, the military, our country, or our God. If you got in the military and you got out with less than an honorable discharge, my friend, you need to go sit down in the back seat behind everybody else. And you need to thank God for the veterans who did their job and were discharged honorably because they did their job. A job that evidently you couldn't carry out. An honorable discharge is easy to obtain. God bless our veterans who served honorably. Remember this, tomorrow we celebrate every military veteran who served God and country with honor. Those alive today and those long dead deserve to be remembered with us celebrating their honorable service. See, everything about Veterans Day revolves around honor. You can't be a veteran in good standing, if you'll have it, without having an honorable discharge. I'll tell you, less than honorable will follow you all through your life. You go for a job. A lot of these people want to know if you ever served in the military. And if you did, what kind of discharge did you get? So tell me, those who got less than honorable discharges, would you lie and say that you had an honorable discharge? Or would you finally, in the end, when it was all over, would do one thing honorable and admit the fact that you do not serve this country with honor and did not receive an honorable discharge? I don't mean to be going off on this tangent, but we can't celebrate our veterans if we don't call out those who call themselves veterans, who are no more than losers, who couldn't do their job or refused to do their job. You know, just to clarify this point, tomorrow we celebrate all honorably discharged veterans and the same veterans now from long gone from our presence. It's not just those who are alive. We need to celebrate those honorable veterans who still serve, those who died, and those who served honorably. We have Memorial Day in May as a memorial to the men and women who lost their lives in defense of America. And well, we should remember them. So we have Memorial Day. Oh, my chat's in finally. So we have Memorial Day. And Memorial Day tells us to remember those who've fallen, those who sacrificed everything for America, for you and for me, for our children, even our grandparents and great-grandparents reap the rewards of those fighting men who lived and died to make this country free. Tomorrow is all about the vets who also still live, and pray for those in uniform and service to this country. Remember those veterans who served honorably. It didn't matter if they were in war or not. If you're in the military, it only takes a split second for war to break out. I remember when I was in Germany and they attacked the USS Cole and killed all those Marines and sailors. We went on alert, and it was that quick. I mean, 1 minute you're doing your normal daily job, and the next second you're running, grabbing your gear and jumping in a truck and going to the airport. You never know in the military when you might be called to service. So I salute any veteran with an honorable discharge. We have one thing to worry about, and that is these demon rats who think of our veterans as lowlifes, scum, the needy. I'll tell you, American veterans made this country all the way back to the Revolution and before. I've heard Dangerous Freedom talk about how George Washington and his men crossed the Delaware. I believe it was on Christmas Eve. In the frigid cold, wearing socks and cloth around their feet because they didn't have boots, but they still fought. They made this country free. And that's the fighting force and the fighting mind that we have to maintain in America. We have to be proud of our heritage. We have to be proud of our veterans. We have to celebrate our veterans for their service. I want to say God bless America and God bless our veterans. And I'm going to tell you, my friend, if you know a veteran, be it at work or wherever you may be in your family or whatever, hug a veteran tomorrow. Hug a veteran and let them know that you're happy that they served this country and they protected you when you couldn't protect yourself. So celebrate Veterans Day. Hug a veteran tomorrow. Hug a veteran every day. Because I'm going to tell you, every person who got out of the military, be it the Marines, the Air Force, Navy, or Army, it doesn't matter, even the Coast Guard. If you serve, you're prepared to go and do whatever it is that's needed of you. So I celebrate all military veterans on this day tomorrow, and I ask you to do the same. So now I'm going to talk to you about some stuff that I really like talking about. We're going to see who all's in here. We've got 30. Wow, that's great. I've been sitting here reading and talking, and I haven't been looking at the chat. So let's see who is in here. We've got CLC in Florida, Margot Dahlgren, Colleen O'Sullivan, The Memo, Liberty Smith. And let's see, I can go back a little bit. Let's see if I can find some other people. We've got Will Mann, 757. We've got Modus Operandi. Got God Blessed America, Spirit Talker, Prophes. I think I've already said Colleen O'Sullivan, Vince Dunn, Jeff Randall. Glad you're here, brother. Always good to see you. You've got 5X Champs too. Haven't seen them before. He said Pete sent me. Let's see if I can put that up there for you, brother. Give everybody a chance to see your name. Go see this man. If you don't know him, go check him out. I'm going to right after this stream. Every time I see new people in here, I try to go to their channels afterwards if I can remember, or I go to the replay and I write it down. And I try to go to these people's channels, excuse me if I can talk. Vince Dunn, The Memo. Okay, Northern Tiger. Willman 757 again. I really appreciate all you people being in here. Well, I'm going to have a little fun with this one. I'm going to talk a little bit about my favorite demon rat. Hillary, let's start this over. I'm going to talk about my favorite demon rat. Hillary Rotten Clinton. My question is this: is Hillary going to run in 2020? I'm not putting that out of the equation, because you never know what Hillary Rotten Clinton's going to do. It wouldn't surprise me in the least if she jumped into the 2020 race, and I think all she's waiting for is for Biden to finally realize that he's a failed candidate and he needs to go. Darla Tidwell, how are you, my friend? Glad to see you. I'm trying to get in here. Let's see what Colleen had to say. Colleen says, the only vet in my family is my father-in-law. He has dementia, and all he remembers is his group in Korea. My dear sister, let me tell you something right now. Go in there next time you see him and you hug him, and you hug him for me. You tell him that deplorable Bobby sent him a hug. He may not know it. He may not even remember it 5 minutes after you say it. But I'm going to tell you, my friends, our veterans, they are worth everything. And they deserve to be celebrated. So do me a favor, Colleen. Promise me that the next time you see him, you'll give him a hug and whisper in his ear that deplorable Bobby loves you. Please do that for me. Because that's very sad, Colleen. And, you know, I want everybody to remember our veterans. Just like Colleen said, this man has dementia and all he remembers is the Korean War. But you have to remember, God blessed me to never serve in wartime. I've never had to shoot a man. But in the Korean War, the Vietnam War, Second World War, First World War, the War of 1812, the war between the states and the Revolutionary War, if I can talk. These people all served. Can you imagine, like Colleen's father-in-law? He's lived his long life and now his body's fading and he has dementia. And all he can remember is those days in Korea when he was fighting and killing and trying to stay alive. See, that's what these veterans go through a lot of times, because their time in war was so massive and such a big deal in their minds and hearts that they push it away. They don't like to talk about it. People that fought in battle don't like to talk about their battles unless they're just a narcissist. Most people just want to keep it in the background and not think about it. And then as time goes on and age takes its hold on you and you're left in a demented state, all you can remember is war. That's why I'm talking about Veterans Day today the way I am. These people went through a literal hell and it stayed with them all their lives. And you have people like Hillary Rotten Clinton. Hillary Rotten Clinton is sidestepping the suggestion that she might join the 2020 race for the Democratic nomination for president in 2020. Can you believe that? When asked if she would run in 2020 the other day, she said this: you know, I've always been a slow runner. She's trying to be funny, people. She's not a comedian, so she's not funny. So she says, I've always been a slow runner. And then she laughed. And her audience and her supporters all laughed with her. So now she's a comedian. And then she said, I'm embarrassingly slow. Well, yes, you are, Hillary Clinton. You are slow. You're slow to think. You're slow to act. Remember Benghazi? Remember how slow you were to act that night? Do you remember those men dying in Benghazi because you were so slow? You couldn't do your job? Hillary Rodham Clinton, you carry the blood of those men on your hands. And that blood will stay there forever. When you meet your maker, I don't expect it to be God. I expect you to meet your maker halfway to heaven, and he's going to say, get the heck out of here, Hillary Clinton. Go serve the one you served while on the earth. Go serve Satan, Hillary Rodham Clinton. She says she's tried to run races, and is so far behind that I just start walking. See, what she was saying, that was a subliminal message saying to Trump, say, see, I may not run right now, but I can walk and defeat you. You know, and then she acts like that's the plan that she's had all the time. Let's do this for a minute. Lock her up. Finally, she got some of what the point is. She said, look, I think I would have been a really good president. Now, she thinks she would have been a good president. Okay, she would have been a good president. Wasn't it Hillary Rodham Clinton that said, if I were on Earth too, I would be president? What in the world is Earth 2? It's some figment of her imagination, some grandiose thought that somebody put into her head and whispered in her ear and said, you know, Hillary, if we were on Earth 2, you'd be president now. And she bought it because she's an idiot. She thinks that she could have been a great leader had she just been elected in 2016. And oh my goodness, where do I really start with this one? There's so much about her that is evil and wrong and mean. I could go on for hours and hours and hours on this woman. Hillary Rodham Clinton added that it was hard to make sense of what happened during the 2016 election, which she described as deeply flawed. Hello, Memo, Dangerous Freedom, One Dirty Rotten Imbecile. Effie Loves America. Effie, I loved hearing you today on Pete the Patriot. That was great. I'm going to have to get with you sometime and see if we can't do a panel or something together there, Effie. Hello, Pete the Patriot, Northern Tiger, 12B, Georgia. Man, I want to thank y'all for being here. Y'all have made this a success. Hillary calls the 2016 election deeply flawed because even though she cheated, she lied, and she knew the Russians were helping her in her bid for the White House. She turned it all around and blamed it on Trump, but that's what they do. You can bet your bottom dollar if a demon rat accuses a Republican of something, they're accusing of them because it's what they're doing. Plain and simple. They're accusing you of what they do to take the heat off of them. But we're not stupid. We see this and we understand it for what it is. It's more propaganda and more propaganda and more propaganda from the left. They never tell the truth. They'd rather tell you a lie than even think of the truth. I don't think that people like Hillary and Pelosi and Schiff and Schumer and all of these other demon rats, I don't think they have the capacity to think like a normal human being. They're so consumed with evil. You know, when she called the 2016 election deeply flawed, and even though she cheated and she lied, she knew the Russians were helping her. HRC had the Russians. She had the vote of the mindless progressive snowflakes. She had name recognition as Secretary of State and as First Lady for President Clinton. Remember her as First Lady? She was the woman who, after Bill Clinton was found out to have had so many different affairs with not just Monica Lewinsky, but all these other women in Arkansas. What did Hillary do? Oh, yeah, she went to the defense of her husband. And how did she do it? She did it by attacking these women. Pardon me. But that's what she did. She attacked these women, even though it was her husband who couldn't keep his whacker in his pants. It was her husband that performed this act with those women. But yet, who was attacked? The women were attacked by Hillary Clinton. Oh, I'm sure behind closed doors, she probably slapped him around pretty good because, you know, she's more of a man than Bill ever was. So she probably slapped him around pretty good and spanked his little butt and put him to bed. And then she attacked the women because she's evil. You know, her name recognition as Secretary of State under Hussein Obama. She also had John Podesta, the spirit cooker. Remember him? He likes those spirit cookings. Huma Abedin, Hillary Rotten Clinton's lesbian lover and partner and child sacrifice. Satanist Katy Perry was singing HRC's theme song. HRC had the vote from the LGBTQHRSTUV community, not to mention her super delegates, and she still lost to President Trump. She had everything going her way. She had everybody that she could possibly have on her side on the left, and she still lost. So now she's thinking about running again. Oh, I would love to see Hillary run. I would love it beyond anything. Let's lock Biden up and his son Hunter. Let's get rid of Elizabeth crazy ass Pocahontas Warren. Oh, by the way, speaking of her, do you know how much her plan would cost taxpayers if she were elected president? We would have to cough up, get this, $57 trillion up front to take care of her plan of Medicare for all, free school, school loan debt, reparations. This woman is a total fool. So is Biden. So is Hillary. So is every other demon rat in the party. Thank goodness we haven't heard much out of Kamala and Cory Meet Me in the Bathroom Booker lately. I think it's all going to boil down to Hillary Clinton in the end. I really believe she's going to throw her hat in the ring. I don't think that she can stand it that she's not president. I think she wakes up every morning thinking that she's on Earth too, waiting to go to the Oval Office. And when she walks outside of her apartment, reality hits and she realizes she's not in the White House. This woman is a total fool. She's crazy. This woman is a lunatic. The truth of the matter is simply that HRC has so much baggage that she can't get rid of it. She has so much baggage following her all the way from Arkansas. You know, Hillary began her satanic rise to prominence the first day that she became First Lady in Arkansas. Remember, she was a lawyer with the Rose Law Firm, and she was defending a rapist against a 12-year-old girl. And by technicalities, she won that case, and he was set free. And she laughed. She not only laughed once, but she laughed twice about how she got him off after raping a 12-year-old girl. Hillary drugged that 12-year-old girl across the coals like she was a grown person, treated her like dirt, turned her into a little 12-year-old slut. That's what Hillary did to this little girl to protect the rapist, like her husband, Bill Clinton. I believe it with my heart, and I'll believe it to my dying day. You know, she fought this in open court, and she was so disgraceful. Maybe you can go back and get the transcripts and do a little reading like I did about this case. But I'm going to tell you, Hillary Rotten Clinton, what she did to that little girl was inhumane. It was inhumane. If I'd have been the judge sitting there during that, I would have done everything I could to get her disbarred. But Hillary has had more scandals surrounding her than flies on a dead animal. Hillary Rotten Clinton is corrupt. She's an evil Satanist progressive witch. She's a full-fledged witch. I guess you heard a few weeks ago, more or less months ago, I guess now. She was welcomed into the witches' coven known as the Wing. Upon being accepted into the Wing coven of witches, she tweeted about how inspired she was about the passion and the commitment of the coven. Let me ask you, my friends, you have a witches' coven called the Wing who have asked Hillary Clinton to be a member, and she gladly accepted. She's talking about the inspiration that she received and the passion that she saw and the commitment of the coven. What were they passionate about? Answer me that, my friends. What are witches passionate about? And what kind of commitment must they make to their coven? Is it a commitment of blood? Is it a commitment by sacrifice? How do they do this in a witch's coven? How do you become a member? Is there blood involved? Is there death involved of an animal or a human? Are you summoning Satan? Are you asking for Beelzebub to come into your presence and teach you and lead you and guide you in your witchery? I don't know. I know enough, though, to know that I don't want to have anything to do with any witch, be ye a white witch or a black witch. I don't believe there's such a thing as a white witch, a good witch. If you're a witch, you're a witch. Plain and simple. And Hillary Rotten Clinton is a witch by her own admission into this coven. Hillary Rotten Clinton is lying. She's oh God, I'm getting wound up. She's a liar. She's manipulative. She's a narcissistic, Satanist murderer of anyone who crosses her. This woman deserves nothing except to be behind bars for life or executed in a public place by hanging from the neck until she's dead from a tree. And Central Park would be a good place to start. You know, leave her hanging there after you hang her. Just leave her hanging there. Let the animals and the birds come in and just devour her body. Let her hang there till she decays and her head falls off and she falls on the ground, and then the maggots and the worms eat her. That's what she deserves. You know, in the end, only the maggots would have anything to do with Hillary Rotten Clinton. She's already dead as a human being. She's a walking dead man. There's nothing in her good. Everything about her is satanic or evil. I despise this woman. I guess you can tell from my rhetoric. But Hillary Rotten Clinton is so powerful, crazy, that she's unmoved by normal human being drives and desires like love and loyalty, compassion, understanding. She doesn't understand that concept. She doesn't understand the concept of being human because she's evil to the core. Aside from being a witch, a liar, a con, a Satanist, a thief, and yes, Hillary Rotten Clinton is a murderer. I said it. She's a murderer. She's a murderer of anyone who opposes her. And now her body count is well over 100 dead. And they're dead by her command. How does this woman walk free in society today? She sold out America. She sold our uranium to Russia. She played into all of this Clinton scandal stuff about the Clinton Foundation and all the money they were laundering. She's a money launderer. They've called her dead to rights on so many things. What happened in Haiti? They went to Haiti. They got $8 billion, and what happened? Less than 2 million went to Haiti, and the rest went to the Clinton Foundation's coffers. She's evil. She's rotten. She's mean. She's satanic. She's evil. This woman deserves to face justice. She's guilty of using private email servers that gave access to all State Department emails to China. They didn't have to have a password. She just left it open for them. And she told them, China, come on in here, take whatever you want out of my emails. Hey, just make sure that you write the check and sign it. I want to tell you, people, you don't become a multimillionaire or even a billionaire by being Secretary of State if you're not selling your office. Just like Joe Biden sold his office to Ukraine. I want to tell you, my friends, and to China. We're going to talk about Hunter Biden here in a few days. It's going to come up come Wednesday when they start these public hearings. Of course, I don't expect him to be public very long. I expect Adam Schiff to really show his little Adam butt. And he's not going to let the Republicans call witnesses. And when they do call witnesses, he's going to say, no, that witness can't testify. And if they asked a witness a question that the Democrats have called, or if they do let one of the Republicans' witnesses talk, if they asked a question that Adam Schiff doesn't like, oh, you can't answer that question. See, why are we having this kind of process? It's the same process they had behind closed doors. Adam Schiff is controlling everything. Who in the world died and left him God? How does he have such power that he can be a liar and a con and a cheat and a thief in the face of the American people and nobody says anything? Of course, the Republicans are all up in arms. They're raising Cain about it. But do you see one Democrat that calls Adam Schiff a liar when he sat there on his bench as chairman of the Intelligence Committee and he read that fake transcript from the Ukrainian president and Donald Trump? How can he be saved? How can he have immunity? It doesn't matter if he's sitting behind his chairmanship in Congress. This man made a complete, utter lie out of our president and the president of Ukraine, and he got absolutely no repercussions for it. Why does this happen? Why do we allow this in our country? Why do we allow these liars, cons, cheats, and thieves to run this country like Skeletor Pelosi and Adam Schiff? Believe me, my friends, I have another name for him, but I won't say it tonight. Then you got Chuck U. Schumer. Feinstein, where's she been lately? Ever since you heard about her and her Chinese chauffeur, a 20-year employee, being a member of the Chinese intelligence, you haven't heard much out of this old woman since the Kavanaugh hearings. Same thing with crazy Maxine Waters. Where's she at? I'm going to tell you right now, everything, all of the cameras and all of the attention is put on Adam Schiff. Adam Schiff is going to see that this attack on our president will be his downfall. He will not be able to overcome the challenge that lays before him. Between the Republicans in the Congress and in the Senate and our president and his core group, eventually this is all going to go for full circle. It's all going to go around. We're going to hear all this stuff. And in the end, little creepy Adam Schiff is going to fall. You know, back to Hillary Clinton, though. She's guilty of running a money laundering operations through the Clinton Foundation and is guilty of mass corruption. She has no moral compass. She's a habitual liar. She's self-serving. And all she wants is power and wealth above everything else. As you can plainly see, I despise Hillary Rotten Clinton with a passion. And I stand on my belief that the world will be a better place when she is finally gone to join her God, Satan, for eternity in hell, because that's where she belongs. She belongs in hell. This is the evilest woman I've ever heard of in my life. She's corrupt, she's mean, she's a liar, she's a con, she's a thief, a murderer, among many other things. I'm ready to see a perp walk. How about y'all? Ain't it time to see somebody take that perp walk before a judge for corruption, child trafficking, child abuse, child exploitation of any kind? Trump signed that executive order, I believe it was in February, right after he took office, that anyone convicted of corruption or human trafficking of any kind could face the death penalty. Well, why is Hillary Clinton not being brought up on charges on both of those accounts? Not only is she corrupt, she sold uranium to Russia, had Mueller deliver it. Come on, this woman was Secretary of State. She let our men die in Benghazi, and she knew she was doing it. He'd been asking for weeks for reinforcements or to be taken out of there, and she refused to answer. She refused to answer her own ambassador in Benghazi. She didn't have the time. And she worries about Trump. Who's going to be there for the 3 a.m. phone call? Well, let me tell you, my friend, she was not there for that 3 a.m. phone call. And when she did get the call, she did nothing about it. She allowed those men to die there in Benghazi. A terrible, horrible death. They were tortured. Man, I don't understand how we can let her live in America walking free. Why is she not in prison? Why is she not in prison? And you know, she's not in prison. And she deserves to be. There's a lot of politicians that deserve to be in prison. You got John Kerry. John Kerry went to Iran. And you know as well as I do, that was a violation of the Hatch Act. And it calls for treason. Why was he not brought up on charges? Why is President Trump letting all this slide? We've got enough on these demon rats right now. We've got enough on Nancy Pelosi and Adam Schiff and their little flight to the Middle East during the ceasefire to know that they were with al-Baghdadi just before he was killed. They know they were there. They pinged their phones all the way there. How do you think they found al-Baghdadi? Through Schiff's and Pelosi's pinging telephones. If you don't believe me, look it up. Look it up. Look where they went. And while we're at it, when will we see Hunter Biden? Will he come to the impeachment hearings? Will he be a witness? Will Joe Biden be a witness? Will Schiff himself be a material witness? We don't know. But I guarantee you, I'm going to be watching those proceedings very closely because I know what's going to happen. And Schiff doesn't care if he's on national television. He's going to make a total fool of himself when he tells Republicans you can't ask that question. Or he tells a witness, don't answer that question because a Republican asked it. Or he's going to say, no, you can't call that witness. I don't like him. You can call one of our witnesses maybe and ask him a question or two if I like it. Because Adam Schiff thinks he's in control of the whole show. This man lives in a grandiose mentality. He thinks he's something. He thinks he's something far beyond what he could ever be. Just like Pelosi and the rest of them. But Schiff right now is on a roll. See, he thinks he can defeat the president. He can take down a sitting president. He can make impeachment work. He can destroy this country for the Republicans. He can turn us all into second-class citizens. All he has to do is impeach Trump. And I'm going to tell you, with this crazy Congress we got right now, they may just well impeach him. We don't have the votes to stop it. So if they impeach him in the House, what's going to happen when it goes to the Senate? I'm going to tell you now, I don't think that he'll be impeached by the Senate. He will not be removed from office. It'll be just like with Nixon and with Clinton. They got impeached in the House, but not in the Senate. It's going to mean nothing. They're just trying to put a black mark on him, but they want to put a black mark on him that's going to take him out of office. And it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. The time has come right now. We are living in the most exciting political times that we've ever had in history. We're sitting at the crossroads of a revolution. We're sitting at the crossroads of a civil war. We're sitting at the crossroads of good and evil. We're at the crossroads of what is right and what is wrong. We're at a crossroad. Everyone in America is standing on the crossroad right now. What are we going to do? Are we going to listen to these demon rats and their lies and their deceit and all of the spewing that comes out of their mouth during this impeachment? Or are we going to have eyes that can see and ears to hear to know this man, Adam Schiff, is a liar, a con, a cheat, and a thief? I venture to say that we patriots will see right through it because we support our president in all that we do. All I can say is that it's a sad time, my friend. It's a sad time. It's going to be up to us in 2020 to take the trip to the polls. We're going to have to tell our family and our friends and our acquaintances and our coworkers. We're going to have to remind them that we have a president that has made America so great. He's blown away the economy. He's blown away unemployment. He's blown away employment for blacks and women and minorities. I mean, he's doing so much for our country. I would love to see him do more, don't get me wrong, but he's a busy man, especially now that we're in the 2020, run to the 2020 election. So we're going to be seeing a lot of our president, and we have to support him in all that he does. My friends, I'm going to leave you with that thought. Let's don't let people like Hillary Rodham Clinton throw anything in the works in this election. Let her run. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's Warren or Biden or Hillary or anybody, Tulsi Gabbard. It doesn't matter who it is. Our president is going to stand strong, stand firm, and he's going to do great. But I know that American Joe is coming on in a minute, so I'm going to get out of here. I want everybody to jump over to American Joe Show. He's doing his Bible study tonight at 9. So jump over there. I'm going to hush and be quiet. Slate Rock, Benny Mabe, Colleen O'Sullivan, God Bless America, CLC in Florida, The Memo, Dirty Rotten Imbecile, Crow Minion, Modus Operandi, Willman 757, DM Damad, the best mod on the earth. Colleen O'Sullivan, Drop It Like Scott, Gary Holland, Florida Jim, Maggie, Slate Rock. Thank you all for being here. I'm going to get out of here and let y'all go see Joe. Jump over there right now. American Joe Show. Check him out. God bless you and I love you. And I'll see you Friday night.